Hello. Where are my peoples at? Hello, hello. Where are my peoples at? Let's try this again. Hey.
Hello.
Hello.
What's up?
What's up? What's up? What's up? Happy Monday.
Yes, happy Monday to you too. Yay.
Where's our crew?
Our crew is coming.
Oh, they're coming. Okay.
They are coming.
Okay, hold on one second.
Watch out for the request. Because I sent a request. Maybe you got it a little bit later. Because I was watching you when you're saying, where's my peoples? And I'm like, I sent a
Yeah.
request long time. Yeah. So I guess
Oh,
there could be a little bit of delay.
there might be a delay.
Yeah. 1 PI tone is in the house. Hello. How are you? Many happy returns to you as well. Thank you. Appreciate that. Although it'd be great for you to come on. We haven't seen you yet.
Hey.
So it'd
Hello.
be, hello.
Hello. Welcome to the live.
Welcome to the debut live.
Okay. Good evening. Happy Monday. I hope everyone's week is going well. Let's get right into it. So, we're talking about love in 2021. In particular, what it's like for Caribbean Canadians who are looking for love in 2021 or looking for a long-term relationship. So I'll just give you some background. We're having a speed dating event on July 12th, Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And it's for Caribbean Canadian professionals who are looking for a long-term relationship and or marriage, in particular heterosexual monogamous relationships. That's what we're focusing on July 12th. So if you're interested in registering for that event, I encourage you. The link is in the comments. I hope. Let me put it again just to be sure. And today or tonight, we're just having a very candid, informal conversation about relationships. And I've invited my family here to join with me in the conversation. Oliver and Lisa, thank you for joining me. And we're going to have these conversations on a regular basis leading up to July 12th. So please follow the page, OURCCC, and that way the next time we go live, you're getting the notification. So I'll just start with a very, very open-ended question. And we're just going to share what we think, and we're inviting the followers, the viewers, to also weigh in on the conversation. What are some do's and don'ts? This is the question I have for everybody. What are the do's and don'ts when you're in a relationship? Do's and don'ts from the male perspective, from the female perspective. Right off the top. A big no-no, right off the top.
Do's and don'ts.
Do's and don'ts.
Don'ts.
Yeah.
Wow.
What do you think?
I would say
When you're entering,
don't be
go
too
ahead.
pushy and aggressive the first couple of dates.
Okay. What does that mean though? What do you mean by pushy and aggressive? Like that's relative term, right?
Yeah, that's true. That is
Yeah.
true. I mean, I would say, like,
Do you mean don't be controlling? Is that what you're referring to?
well,
Don't be controlling.
that's kind of broad too, right? I mean, you want to get to know the person. So I would
Yeah.
say, um, don't try to get the person to your house on the first date, for example. Right? That's,
Okay.
a little bit too much. That's kind of the thought process I'm going to when it comes to just being aggressive. Get to know the person. So
Get to
don't.
know the person.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Okay.
my don't for now.
That's one that came to the right off the top.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm asking, hello, viewers. Hello. Thank you for participating. We're talking about love in 2021, what it's like for Caribbean Canadians looking for long-term relationships or looking for love. And we invite you to participate in the conversation. Just type your comments there and we'll read them out. But we're asking, what are some do's and don'ts when you're entering a relationship in 2021? Because the do's and don'ts of this year or this time is different from the do's and don'ts of like the 1990s, the 1980s, right? So in 2021, what are some do's and don'ts?
Be patient.
Huge.
That's
Huge.
big based on our last based on
Yeah,
our
that's
last
huge.
conversation.
But even that is relative because somebody might say, well, I've waited a day for them to respond to my text. So that's me showing patience, right? So what exactly is patience? What is patience?
That
Good
is
evening, everybody.
that
Yeah,
is
when we
tough.
say be patient, what does that mean?
Because it's a relative term. For example, on the topic of texting and responding to texting, um, wait till the person respond. That's patience. You can't have a set say, you know what, I need a response within an hour or within a day.
Okay.
It would be a little bit ridiculous to say, you know what, I'm gonna wait a week. But wait until the person responds. That's patience.
And someone said here, be accepting of what you might consider a flaw. No one is perfect. Good
Correct.
point.
Yeah,
That's
very good
also
point.
being patient, right? Instead of, like I was saying before, instead of expecting a text back within a couple hours, when you get the text, you accept that. Now, what do you do after that? Or maybe try a few more texts and see the interactions. How long is it still 5 hours? If it's consistent 5 hours, then you know the person might be working, right? Then you start using your emotional intelligence and start understanding and show empathy. But
Yeah, right.
um, yeah, that's what I get when it comes to patience.
For me, my one of the things that stood out for me right away is like not having the expectations. Stop putting your expectations on the other person, right? Like you don't know them, you don't know where they're coming from, you don't know their story, and yet you expect that person to like just be the say everything right, do everything right the first time, right? And I feel like that ends up blocking. I know we've talked about this before, is you end up blocking your own blessings when you set expectations. Just kind of, I guess, keep reminding yourself to be open and receptive and accepting, like somebody said in the chat, right? Just being accepting and open of what comes your way. It might not be what you asked for. Maybe it actually ends up being something that you need. They might give something to you that you weren't even expecting. So just try not to come with the expectations, because then you kind of narrow yourself into that box, right? So that was one of my don'ts, is don't come with expectations. I mean, basic expectations, yes, as far as like respect. Yes, of course, you want to make sure that the person respects you and respect them. But other than that, don't expect them to have all the right answers, to check out, don't expect them to meet all the checks on your checklist and things like that. What about do's? Do you have any do's for those who are watching? And participate for those who are watching now. What are some do's as far as in a relationship? What should you be doing? What should you be in the habit of doing in order to nurture a relationship?
Communication.
Yeah.
Good communication.
Again, what does that mean, Lisa? Because some people are thinking they have good communication, eh? And they really
Yes.
don't. You really have to spell it out. Somebody said talk. Yes. Yeah, so what do you mean by communicate? There's a lot of people going out there around there thinking that they are the best communicator and somehow they're still not getting the relationship that they want.
I think a lot of times people expect the person to read their mind. So I think you have to be open and upfront about certain things.
And I think people are fearful of doing that.
Yeah.
I think people are afraid of really telling the other person what's on their minds. Don't you think?
Yeah.
In some cases, not everybody, right? But it's a really vulnerable thing to tell somebody what you're thinking. Oh, then they're going to figure me out, right? And somehow that takes away from me, or they got the upper hand on me because they know what my weaknesses are, right? Or they know what upsets me. They know my triggers. Now they can just manipulate me. Like, this is the kind of stuff that goes on, not everybody's mind, but in some people's mind, right? So what would you say to that person? That's to both of you. The question is to both of you and the viewers. Those who think communication is a weakness, like really being telling everybody what they think and stuff. What would you say to that person? That person who's looking for love, but doesn't want to communicate or has a limit to how far they'll go.
I can't even begin to say what I would say to that person. Because communication is number one, right? And if you're gonna think that way, I don't think you're ready. I really don't think you're ready. Because by now we should all understand that being vulnerable or just open communicating, whether the person might take your weakness and play on that or whatever it is. If you start thinking like that, you're not ready for a relationship. So I would tell that person, you know what, get that thinking out of your mind, because if you're thinking like that and you end up in a relationship, you won't be able to live in the present.
Yeah.
Which is really, a tough thing to do, right, when you're in a relationship.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining the conversation. Just to bring you up to speed, we are talking about love in 2021, particularly for Caribbean Canadians, what it's like looking for a relationship, long-term relationship. And we have this event coming up on July 12th. It's called Caribbean Canadian Love Space. It's a virtual speed dating event. And it's on July 12th, 8 p.m. And there'll be it's a video conference, a private video conference event. And we're just having some very candid, open dialogue about love and relationships leading up to this event on July 12th. Should we talk about the speed dating event in more detail as far as what they can expect on July 12th?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So first of all, right now we're looking for men and women of Caribbean descent living in Canada, ages 25 to 55, who are looking for a long-term heterosexual monogamous relationship and or marriage. So what we're doing on July 12th is, first of all, you have to register. I've pinned the link to the event, ourchm.ca/community. Go there and you can register there. It'll take you to an Eventbrite page, men and women. And basically on that day, it'll be a hosted event, and it'll be a private event. It's not going to be live streamed. It's not going to be recorded. It's not going to be published. It's just for those who actually registered. And what we're doing is we're pairing up the people into different private virtual rooms for 5 to 7 minutes. And then it's up to them to engage in very light conversation to see if there's a spark or a connection in that 5 to 7 minutes. You're not going all the way in with your deep questions, like Oliver said, right? Maintain, right, that 5 to 7 virtual space. It's not about scaring that person away or making them feel violated, right? It's asking very light conversation, coffee table conversations, right, to see if there's a spark. From there, you're taking notes as far as which of those individuals you feel you have a connection with or a spark or you want to know more about or get to know more of them. And then after you've met everybody, we come back into the main virtual space where everybody is there, and you'll privately send us the people that you think you have a connection with. From there, the host will match up where there's a mutual connection, and we will exchange their contact information. And then it's up to them to carry the conversation after July 12th. So we will not be a part of that after July 12th. So we're hoping to make some connections, at the very least make some friendship connections on July 12th. So someone said, what is this? That's why in the last meeting I said it's important to make oneself vulnerable to the other person, but the challenge is most people don't want to do it in fear that the other person will take, I think it says would take advantage of them. Yeah.
That's
right.
A good point.
Yeah. Again, I think it ties into what Oliver was saying too. It's really the mindset you're coming into this with. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't recommend you coming into that mindset, right? Because when you're coming in with that mindset, that's the energy you're emoting, and most likely that's what you're going to get back. Whatever you're expecting is what you're going to get back. So I would encourage people who are really and truly, authentically looking for love and looking for a relationship, come in with that expectation, so that you're not already kind of sabotaging yourself as you're coming in. And even that, people can read that on your face. If you're thinking, oh, I'm not going to tell this person anything because they're going to take advantage, don't think that the other person is not feeling that vibe.
Well said.
Right? People can read your body language. It will come across in your body language, right? It's not just what's coming out of your mouth. It's more of what's coming actually from your body. More so that than actual what's coming out of your mouth. Yeah.
That's why people get natural gut feelings. That's why there's a vibe, the vibration, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
You can tell something is off. People usually say something is off, right? Or something not connecting. I don't feel that person vibe.
The energy.
Yeah. Of course. It's real. It is real. It's all we got is energy.
Correct.
So let me ask a question again from the viewers. We're just having a very open, candid conversation about love and relationships, in particular for people of Caribbean descent living in Canada. I want to hear, especially from the men, because I want to hear the men's perspective on certain things. As far as like what are their concerns when they're meeting a new lady, a new potential? What are their fears, or what's stopping them, or why can't they find some? I'm talking specifically about the people who are single, men who are single, and they're actually looking for a significant other. Why haven't you found that person yet? I see another comment here. Most times I enter in as a blank slate, but most of the time I encounter negative vibes. Why is that? Why is that?
That's very interesting.
Why is it? Yeah. So that's an interesting comment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't see the comments. I don't know why, but I guess you can see them, which is good. That's tricky, because if you keep seeing that, without this is not to offend anyone, but if you keep seeing that in a relationship, there's a common denominator. Adjust something. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying it could be your fault. It could be the kind of people you are attracting. So again, it comes back to, if you find yourself attracting certain people that you're getting negative vibes from, change the way you approach situation, change the way you like change the way you start thinking of who you want to attract, basically.
Right.
Right? So this way, because there's a common denominator there. That's my take when it comes to things showing up all the time.
Someone said we attract what we put out, and then one PI said, I'm tired of the judgment and the ones having more interest in Jesus than a person they can see in front of them. I'm tired of the judgment and the ones having more interest in Jesus than a person they can see in front of them.
Oh,
okay.
Those people are in faith-based, right?
Yeah, and I think what Oliver raises is a good point, a good tip. Perhaps try a different approach. All right, I'm speaking specifically to the gentleman, or I'm not sure if it was a gentleman or not. I'm just looking at the picture, but the person who said that they usually come in with a blank slate, right? Maybe try not coming in with a blank slate. I don't know, and see if there's a difference, right? Because that's the only thing you can control, right? The only thing you control is yourself, your actions, your behavior. You can't really speak to that other person.
What do you mean
right?
a blank? What do you mean a blank slate? You don't know expectation,
Yeah.
nothing. Right?
Well, that's what it's saying. Most times I enter in with a blank slate. If you want to elaborate on that, one PI, what do you mean?
That could be a good thing because you're not expecting, and you said this earlier too, right? You're not really having these high expectation. But again, what does blank slate means, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, let's move on. Any other do's, like must-haves when you're entering a new relationship or you're in a long-term relationship already? What is a must-have?
Did we mention honesty?
No, we didn't mention honesty.
Honesty is another one.
We did not mention honesty.
Yeah, that's so important.
I think especially when you're starting a relationship, like I think if you're not interested, you need to let that person know. Like don't lead them on.
And it's tricky because for some reason we play so nice and thinking that we're going to hurt people's feeling when we tell them straight up. It's the other way around. We hurt their feelings if we don't, like Lisa said, if you lead them on. You actually hurt their feelings because then you might have no feelings. The other person might have strong feelings. Right? So honesty is really a good one, a big one.
Comment here, coming with no expectations, or this is what blank slate means, Oliver.
Oh.
Coming with no expectations or giving the person an opportunity to be themselves, judgment free. That's how he normally comes in when he's meeting somebody.
And I guess when you come in like that, are you getting the result you desire, or is that the same person saying that they're getting, negative results?
Yes, that's the same person.
Yeah,
I can see how that can be frustrating.
Yeah, that could be frustrating because that's the right approach to come in with, no judgment, allow the person to be themselves.
Yeah.
I would say depends on how you allow that, because then if the person will be themselves and who they are is not aligned with you, then that's a good thing. So to move on.
That's true.
Right? But are you really sticking it out and hoping that they'll adjust and change? Right? That's kind of a fine line, right? It's because then, yes, you want them to be themselves, but it's good because when they be themselves, are you aligned with that person?
Yeah, exactly. Know when to move on, right? And it's not easy to know.
Oh, no, it's not.
Right? Yeah.
It's not. Especially, from a male perspective, especially when the female is very attractive, but other things that they might do that when they be themselves is not aligned with you, and you like that attractiveness, is very, very tough. So you really have to really stick to what you want.
Yeah, exactly. It's really about you. It's always about you. It's not really about the other person, you know, and it's a challenge for people to stick to what they want and not, you know, bend. I mean, yes, you have to bend sometimes the rules, but if you really want something, you just have to ask yourself all the time, am I blocking my blessings? I always say this, am I blocking my blessings by sticking with this person who clearly is into their faith more than they are into me, right? Or they're negative. Yes, they're attractive, but and they're giving me negative vibes. I'm going to stick it out because they're attractive. You know, it's kind of like you're compromising what you really want, right? For something that is not going anywhere. So it's tough. It's not easy. And that's why we're having these candid conversations so that people know that they're not alone, right? We've all been there. All the stuff that you've got, that we've all gone through it, right? It's just that we're not really talking about it very often. So just to remind everybody, we have a speed dating event coming up on July 12th. It's called Caribbean Canadian Love Space, a virtual speed dating event. And we're just having these candid conversations regularly leading up to that event. And we're inviting our viewers to get involved with the conversation, just putting in your comments, follow our page so that when the next time we go live, you're getting a notification. Another thing I wanted to ask before we wrap up, we only have a couple minutes left, and then we'll wrap up. How do you know when this person that you're talking to is somebody that is potential? Meaning like this could be your match. How do you know? How do you know whether this person is your match or not? Right? Like, should I continue down this path of getting to know this person or not? How do I know? They're meeting some of the things on my checklist, but not everything. They don't meet all of the physical things on my checklist, but we have a connection. Like, I really feel comfortable with this person, right? Like, that's my question for everybody, the viewers and my family here on the call, on the live with me now. What would you tell that person? Okay, I met this person, we had a great conversation, but I'm not sure if this is the person for me.
You want to take a stab at that, Lisa?
That's a good question.
Yeah. How do you know?
For me, I'm very simple. If you make me laugh and you like sports, that's a win-win for me initially.
Okay,
You have a
initially,
great
yeah.
sense, yeah, you have a great sense of humor. You
Yeah.
make me laugh. If you make me laugh on the first date, ooh, you're already there.
Okay.
And then you're into sports. Doesn't matter what sports.
Yeah.
Just overall into sports. Then I'm like, okay, all right.
Okay.
She's right there. Yeah.
So what I heard is if some of your interests, if you have some of the same common interests, that's already a signal to you that this has potential,
Correct.
right? Sports being an interest, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. And the other thing was you said making you laugh. So yeah, sense of humor. So that's like a characteristic. So if they're meeting some of your characteristics or personality traits, right? And if they're sharing some of your common interests, that's a start.
Yep.
Definitely.
Okay, now let me add to that because I've heard this before. Okay, so yes, we have common interests. This person is meeting certain basic characteristics I'm looking for, but we had an argument, and I'm feeling like this is not the one for me. Like we had a disagreement, and it's only been 3 weeks that we've been talking, and we had a disagreement. So I'm not sure if this person is the one who's for me. How do you respond?
I guess it would
Um,
depend on that disagreement because nothing is perfect. So I think you have to disagree to agree, if that makes sense. So I think it really depends on why, like what happened.
Yeah.
And that's where patience comes in, though.
What if it was a disagreement about the person didn't respond to my text within X amount of time, right?
There goes the expectation again, right? Right off the top of the show, you talk about, not coming with too much expectation, and a viewer already suggests that, right? So if that's the topic, if that's caused the argument or the conflict, then that's a really tough one, because that it shouldn't lead to a disagreement, because if somebody don't answer your text within a day or so, empathy comes in, right? And
And I think, yeah,
yeah,
go ahead.
it kind of goes to you know another point where if empathy is important to you and the person not showing empathy, then you have to start make quick decisions. Patience is one, right? Patience is really, really good, but you have to really start make tough decisions after that, because so that's just one. What's keep moving.
Yeah.
That's just one strike. So you, like Lisa said, depends on what it is, right?
I think if that's the first time that they didn't respond to your texts,
Yes.
I think if you're interested in that person, that's
Right.
something that, you find out why they didn't respond and, get an explanation. I don't think you're not really into them then if that is going to upset you that much. Or if
Yeah.
I don't know. If it's the first time, I think the person should be given another chance, especially if they have a good explanation.
And this is the reason why, to Lisa, communication is important, because
Exactly.
you can find out why the person didn't respond, but like previous viewers last couple of times would say, that's almost interrogation. Like, I don't have to give you a real reason why I don't respond. I'm working, right? So they might even get defensive. So
Yeah.
communication is important, because then how you come across in finding out why, right?
Right. Yeah. It's all intertwined, right? Expectations, honesty. Like if you had probably told that person in advance that I'd feel comfortable if you responded to my texts by X amount of hours, right? If you had just been forthcoming with that information, you would have avoided the disappointment, right? So you have to take responsibility in a relationship seriously. I think each person, each party has to take responsibility and stop putting it on the other person. They should have known what I expected. Just
Yeah.
be honest. Here's what I expect. And then there's a negotiation that happens, right? And we have to talk about that on another day and time, because it's time for us to wrap up. But there's definitely negotiating and compromise that goes on in an early relationship or a long-term relationship. Get used to that, because you're not always going to have your way, right? So I want to thank my family, Lisa and Oliver, for joining me in this conversation. For those viewers who just came in at the end, I'll just fill you in. We were just talking about very candid, open, informal, casual conversation about love and relationships in 2021, in particular for people of Caribbean descent living in Canada. And this is a leading conversation to an event that we're having on July 12th. It's called Caribbean Canadian Love Space. It's a virtual speed dating event. Again, it's July 12th, and I've pinned the link for you to register. We're still looking for men and women of Caribbean descent living in Canada who are looking for a long-term relationship and or marriage. It's going to be a very fun event. It's private. It's not going to be a live streamed event. So if you're worried about that, no. And it's not going to be recorded. It's a private space, a virtual space. The participants will pair off into private rooms for 5 to 7 minutes. And after the 7 minutes, they jump into another room with another potential. And they keep doing that until they've met everybody everybody that is registered. And at the end, we all come back into the main room and we kind of relax, hang out a bit, talk, and then privately you would share with the hosts those people that you're interested in getting to know more offline. And if there's a mutual connection where both parties are interested in getting to know each other, we will share their contact information. And I forgot to mention, before you come to the event on July 12th, you'll be given a profile of each of the people who have registered. So you kind of already know a little bit of background about the people in advance. So we're still looking for men and women to register. There's still room. And we're only going to move forward with this July 12th event if we have equal number of men and women registered for this event, so that obviously everybody has, you know, somebody to meet. All right, so that's it. Tune in again. Follow our page, OURCCC, so you get the notification the next time we go live. And we encourage you to put your comments in and be a part of the conversation as well. So thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the Monday evening. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll see you again soon. Bye
Thank
for now.
you. Bye.
Bye. See ya.
See ya.